Hello, the internet, and welcome back to another episode of D-Backs Dispatch. We are your hosts, Gabriel and Brandon. Brett is, I guess, on assignment right now, being a lot more important than we are. So we are going to be breaking down the series between the Diamondbacks and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Lots and lots to talk about, especially this being a 4-game series. But before we get into that, I just want to remind everyone and tell everyone, if this is your first time, welcome to D-Backs Dispatch. You can find us everywhere on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube. If this is your first time joining us on YouTube, hit that notification bell and that subscribe button so you don't miss any other podcast. We're also on Twitter, Discord, TikTok, Instagram. If you guys want the Discord link, just let us know. We can send it to you. And also check out the articles on AZ Snake Pit. They've been very good to us in the last couple of seasons. So, Brandon, we're going to just start off hot. What were your overall thoughts on this series?
I was quite surprised, to be honest. Really going into this series, for me, I was trying, I would say I'm the most positive out of the three of us about how the team's doing right now. But coming into this series, with the Dodgers, I didn't know what to expect. I thought they might play a little bit the team would have some extra motivation to play well, and I think we saw it in all 4 games. Sorry, 3 of the games. The first 3 games of this series, I definitely felt like they were extra motivated to play well. It was our first games in the division. They just play hard against the Dodgers, and I think we saw that in the first 3 games. A split, it's great. We didn't gain ground. We didn't really any lose ground, so it's fine. But we wasted an opportunity to win this series, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I felt overall, I mean, we're going to get into it, but I did feel the same way. I felt like there's a lot of missed opportunities to not just win the series, but even sweep the series. And I mean, I guess to a certain extent, it gives me hope for when we get, our reinforcements, especially from the bullpen. But then again, the Dodgers were playing without Teoscar and without Edman as well, which are 2 of their best hitters. So we can't fully say, injuries that impacted us. They impacted the Dodgers as well. A lot of their bullpen arms are out, which is why they had to use the same 3 guys out of the bullpen all 4 games. But just before we start off, we just want to say thank you to everyone joining us. Scott, Tanner, M. I believe I saw Corbin Barrels here as well. A lot of comments. Love it. Keep it up. Talk crap about the Dodgers all you want. We are absolutely here for that. So I guess the first topic is going to be based on the first game, which a lot of people call this the most complete game overall. The only reason I wouldn't call it the most complete game overall is just because of the bullpen. Ginkgo gave up a few runs there at the end, but Brandon Pfaadt beasted this game, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, three walks, and 6 strikeouts. He was just completely dominant in this game, just had him looking completely silly. And he's dominant when Rob Friedman, the pitching ninjas, just post him the entire day. I love seeing that. And Gabby, with his first home run of the season, an Apple Taco, a grand slam, and I know everyone here was just going absolutely nuts for this game. Just seeing that, and then Marte hitting that home run. Just, I know it barely hit the top of the line there. Still a home run. Still was badass.
Still counts.
It still counts. It all counts all the same. This isn't Citi Field anymore. Those actually count as home runs. And just seeing him do the same pose he did from the NLDS, just chef's kiss. then fought with another quality star. He just continues to do it. He truly has one blemish in this entire season. Like he is something else. Like especially when he's on, just doesn't seem like he can give up even a hit in those series. And apparently, first time winning an opener versus LA since September 13th of 2021. The year they lost 110 games.
How did that team do it?
I kind of want to go look and see. I'm like, who the hell was it? If it was a Gallon start, that's probably why. But I bet you anything it was probably a Zach Davies start or something like that. Just like the absolute most.
I never looked at who it was, to be honest.
All right. So I guess the first topic of this game would be both Gabby and Marte. They both hit their first home runs of the season. I know we're a bit late into the year for both of them to be hitting their first home run, but Marte had injury trouble, and Gabby has just not looked like Gabby. But in this series overall, I think Gabby looked a lot better than he normally does. But the question is, Brandon, do you think they're out of their slump so far? Is this who we're going to see going forward?
I think so. I've been saying it for the last few series for sorry, I was thinking the wrong person. Sorry. Gabby, I think yes, because he's starting to pull the ball a little bit more. That was the one thing that was concerning with me is he was going like he was trying to do Gabby Lane on every single thing, and for me, I'm like that's part of it. Like you can't always do it. So I think we saw it was either this game or no, it was this game. He had a single to left. I'm like, wait, what? He actually can pull the ball. And then yeah, just seeing that homer was just it felt so great because of who it was. It was Roki Sasaki coming into this game, had 4 earned runs the entire season. We literally doubled his season ERA in just this inning for with that grand slam by Gabby. So really great job. And with Gabby, like it's not that he's not hitting, it's he's not slugging. Like he had like no extra base hits. I think he had like 3 doubles on the year. So that's what I want to see is just a little bit more slug from Gabby. Because to be honest, I don't need Gabby to hit 280, 290. If he wants to hit 250, 260 and get the occasional extra base hit, I'm fine with that. And for Marte, I said it. Once he got that monkey off of his back with the home run, he'd be fine. And what did he do in this? He hit 3 within 24 hours of it. Like, so yeah, I think Marte was trying too hard to be the guy to fix the team. Because he's like, I'm back. We all know that, yes, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that drives this team. So he was trying too hard. I think Torrey told him, I don't need you to do that right now. I just need you to just be good. And I think that really helped him getting that first homer. I was a little bit like, why are you still standing there? Like that. Like, I know that you kind of made a joke with it with Tatis, like at the beginning of the season, like he should be benched. Marte, like if that was just a double, I would have been just as mad. I'm like, you gotta hustle that out. It's fine. It was a homer. It still worked out.
Yeah, that was one when I actually saw it like off the bat. I'm like, that looks like it was a line drive, and then just barely dunked in behind there, and I was like, oof. I'm not gonna say Marte got lucky because he absolutely clubbered that, but it was definitely one of those where I'm like, oh, yeah, you maybe want to run it out a little bit. But even then, because of how cautious they're being with him, even if he would have, just ran normally out the box, he probably would have just stayed at first, like he did a couple times during the series. He did just stay at first instead of going.
That's what I meant. Sorry, yeah, it was Yamamoto. I don't know why I was thinking Sasaki. That was Friday. My bad.
Yeah, and Yamamoto, I mean, like coming in with the 0.090 ERA, when you see that, you're like, there's no way he's this good. And then you look at his advanced stats, and his ERA is like a 2.3 or 2.4 expected ERA. So you know there's going to be some sort of regression, and that's kind of what this team was hoping for. I think, like to be the team that puts him back into the regression to the fact that they doubled his ERA. Like I don't think there's a single team in this league that can even say that right now that they got to him in a way nobody else did. And I know there's comments are mentioned about their approach. I think this is the game where you see that approach happening and where this team actually did something with their approach, which is just not swinging, at the first pitch like they did all these other games. Like they were patient with him. They really, really waited for him to make a mistake. And in this case, the mistake was the fastball.
Yeah. So, just like I don't need Gabby to all of a sudden turn into Mike Piazza, just a catcher that slugs all day. I just need to see it occasionally. If he wants to get like a double, like 2 or 3 doubles a week, maybe, or like a homer or two a month. Like for me, that's enough of Gabby because his value to this team is behind the plate, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously having some offense be, it's good from him just because, for the most part, Herrera has been a negative offensively, but Gabby I think is too valuable defensively, and even if he was hitting 200, like wouldn't be great, but you know, with the defense that he provides and the way he manages games, I think it would be worth it to have him out there, as much as you can. But just the fact that he actually hits and is a very good hitter, very patient most of the time. Like I said, when he's in these weird slumps where he's just trying way too hard, swinging for the fences, that's when you get him swinging at the first pitch and just grinding out to double plays, striking out. And I think this was definitely one of his best games of the year. I think, maybe last week we mentioned Herrera, that Friday game was just probably his game. So I think right now the catching position is in pretty good hands, especially if Gabby is going to be who, he seemed to be in this game. But I do think maybe we can get to it later, but there's some black holes I think that still need to be addressed in this team. And one of which
Oh,
is
definitely.
Corbin. Corbin Carroll, as great as he did during that Met series, he was just not very good. I believe he had one hit, right? Like, or I don't know if he got a hit today or he got walked, but one hit or two hits and 12, 13 at bats. Just, it's not going to cut it. Like, I know it's the Dodgers. I know they probably have something on them with the way they're attacking them, but just way too many ground balls, way too many strikeouts. He just did not look good at all this
First,
series.
if he doesn't stop swinging at the first pitch, I'm gonna lose it. That's what he's done like so many first pitch outs for Carroll. Like that's the thing right now that's driving me nuts. I'm like, just take two because since he's leading off, if he swings at the first pitch, now Marte has to take 2 or 3 pitches. That way the inning's not over like that for the starting pitcher. Like, I'm not sure if this is a Carroll thing. Is this just a team philosophy for him right now?
I mean,
But
the
yeah,
thing is,
no, he
Carroll was the
one
only
hit
one who
in the series.
if Carroll was the only one who was swinging at the first pitch, I think it would be him. But it's just like it's all of them. Everybody goes up and just swings at the first pitch. And in this game, like I said, they're a little bit more patient, so that's why they're able to put runs across. But all these other games, Justin May going into the seventh with 70 pitches, you can't have that. That's not to say Justin May isn't a good pitcher, but all of these guys, you got to take more than one or two pitches in each at bat. Like that's that's not enough. And I think this team overall right now is just not doing enough to put runs on the board. Well, when was it? The 1 for 11 was yesterday. The 1 for 11 runners in scoring position game. Just not getting it done. This team, like I said, they had a chance to sweep, I believe, just with how dominant their pitching was overall, other than Erod. But yeah, it's just this team is not getting it done. I think Corbin is a huge catalyst for that. And the fact that he wasn't good in this series prevented this team from being able to sweep.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think looking back on it, like it is kind of frustrating just to like go back and you see, yeah, we had Apple opportunities to win the series. I don't know if I'm gonna go with a sweep because of how offense performed in game 4, but we definitely could have won the series.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, let's talk about Brandon Fott. Big game Brandon, our true ace of the staff. He went out, and well, especially with the way those Mets series went, we felt he's going to have to pitch a really, really good game, and that's what he did. He pitched what I believe is an elite game, like maybe with the three walks. Some people might say he pitched an okay game, but 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. His ERA for the year is at 3.28. He has 6 wins on the year. Just absolutely shut down this high-powered Dodger offense. Just made everyone look silly. So, Brandon, what grade level would you give his start?
Only because of the 3 walks, I give it a B plus. Like he was dominant in this, and like we've talked about, I don't know, at nauseum, how tired the bullpen is. We need these guys to go 6 and 7 innings, and Fott did that. Fott really gave this team a chance. Like like you said, 6 and a third, only 4 hits, and the big one here, 0 earned runs. And he also had 6 strikeouts. Like he's had a lot of starts where he's not really striking out guys. He definitely had it in this one. And I think he leads the National League in wins. I actually have to check because Zach Wheeler did start tonight, so I don't know if he got, because I thought Zach Wheeler was pretty close to where he. Oh no, Zach Wheeler only has 4. So um, he keeps doing this. We're gonna have to talk about Brandon Fott in the All-Star game. So really good, solid performance from the Fott father.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would agree. It would be like a B plus just because of the walks. Like it is something that you want to see less of from the starting staff overall. Like Corbin Burns, as good as he was, he did give up 2 walks, but one of them was intentional. But when you look at his starts, it's a lot of quality starts. The only issue is the walks, and same with Gallen. He gets punished because of those walks. But the fact that 4 hits, 3 walks, 7 guys on base for him, and none of them could come across and score, I think speaks volumes to the Brandon Pfaadt that we've seen in the past, where he would struggle with in these sort of situations where he would get to that 1 inning and you knew it was coming, the fifth or the sixth, just the wheels would absolutely fall off, and then he just would. I'm not gonna say he choked, but he would allow 3 or 4 runs, and so then at the end of the day, you looked at his start and it's like, okay, 6 innings, 4 runs, and so far this year he hasn't had those type of innings, those type of outings, which is great to see, and that's why so far he's been the most consistent guy. Yeah, I know Corbin Burns has a lower ERA than him, but I think in terms of the workload, in terms of what they've done so far, Brandon Pfaadt still remains this team's ace.
Yeah. It's just like he just get like it's what we used to say about Merrill Kelly. He's the like you know if he was pitching that day that your team would have a chance and your bullpen would not have to be as busy because they're going to give you 5, 6, sometimes 7 innings. Like it's just what he does. Like and it's just so weird to say. Like coming into the season, I was like, yeah, Fudd's probably going to end up being our third or fourth best starter. He is by far our best starter, and it's now based on what Burns did in this series, that gap is closing. But I still think Fott is our right now is our best starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think especially the consistency factor, like if you're having a guy come out there and he can be completely dominant, like the way Erod would be, 6 innings, 10, 15 strikeouts, and then just get destroyed the next outing. I don't think you can call that guy, one of the best on the staff, but he did his job. The bullpen, like I said, they faltered a little bit, and I think later on we can get into a little bit with the fact that Beeks, the way he was using this game, wait, not Beeks. That was Friday. Never mind. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, Ginkel just has not looked as sharp as he did before the injury. And I think it's going to take time. I think he truly going to get that many games in
He's
AAA.
been back
I think,
for 10 days.
I think if this team had Jamar and Puck, I don't think, I honestly don't think he would have even been back by now. If I'm being honest, I think they probably would have let him work things out in AAA a little bit longer. But that was game one. A lot of bright spots. Fought, Gabby, Marte, they all did their job, and they were able to take this game from LA, and everyone was happy until game two. Now, game two was, I think, probably the most infuriating game of the season, other than that Cubs
Oh,
series. Like,
without a doubt, this
I think
takes the cake.
there's so many parallels to that Cubs series with the way things worked out. But just the fact this was the
Yeah.
Dodgers, they're in division, and man, just I mean, this game started off pretty well. Like, Erod, wasn't absolutely terrible throughout the first inning, but he immediately gave up the lead. The D-backs, they're giving up. They're hitting home runs. They're doing their job. Marte, he had 2 home runs. Gurriel had the grand slam. Gino hit the opposite home run. But Erod just I can't even say he couldn't find the strike zone, because he was finding the strike zone. He was just getting destroyed from it. He went 2 2/3. He had gave up 9 hits, 8 runs, 6 of them earned because of the Josh Naylor error. And we said it before, defending him a little bit, that his ERA his expected ERA is a little bit lower than his actual ERA, just because of how many errors there have been behind him.
Yeah.
And this was definitely one of them. But just, man, the hole he put this team in. He gave up 8 runs, just was not doing his job at all. And the 6 earned runs, I think, were a reflection of that. Even if he would have just given up the 6 runs, this is still not a good outing from him at all. So Erod really, really struggled. It just was so frustrating to watch. So I guess the question is here, I guess it's a very loaded question, but Brandon, what do we do with Erod?
Unfortunately, I don't wish injury on anyone, but a phantom shoulder inflammation for Erod right now, I wouldn't be. I don't even know how to say this without sounding like a complete jerk, wishing for an injury, but maybe he gets a phantom and he's out for 2 weeks, and then we can really kind of see what Nelly can do for a couple starts in a row. This game was so weird. Like, this game, I was at this game, and my freaking emotions, like when we were up in the first with that Marte, just a beautiful homer right inside the pole in right field. And then I don't know if you guys know how hard it is for a right-handed hitter to hit a pull shot. That is a very hard home run to hit. And he didn't just get it in the pool. He hit it over the pool. Like, that to me was so impressive. So I was so excited. I'm like, wow, they are really coming out on fire again against the Dodgers. Like, they're ready to go. Like, they really play well against this team. And then Erod just struggled. And it was a whole thing in this whole series. Dodgers they barrel up the baseball, especially the top 4 of Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, and Smith. Outside of that, with their current injuries, that offense isn't as scary as it looks. But that top 4 is pretty nasty. And the grand slam by Gurriel was huge. He's been playing so well lately. It's nice to see in the lineup, for the most part, no one under 200 for the most part. Like, that was just disheartening to see for a while. Like, he had 4 guys hitting over 400. We don't have to worry about that so much anymore, because Suarez just above 200. Gurriel's just above 200. So I think they're all starting to come out of it. But with Erod, I really don't know what's going on. I know everyone likes to kind of make the joke that we shouldn't sign any veteran free agency pitchers because they never work out.
Left-handed,
I will disagree. Yes. Okay. If we go left-handed, I will give you it there because Mad Bum was trash. So far, Erod has been But everyone likes to like group in Greinke and Burns. I'm like, Greinke actually wasn't that bad. Like Greinke, for the most part, like if you look at the entire time he was here, it was pretty decent. And Burns has been here playing in professional games for 6 weeks. So I don't know if we can loop those guys in together. But Erod he just didn't have it in this. And like I think I saw he's only had one quality start in all of his outings so far. And he hasn't, this to me blew my mind. He hasn't won a game at Chase Field. Now, I know he didn't pitch till like August of last season, but still, August, September, and then the first 2 months of this season, not winning a game at Chase Field, like it has me worried. Like, can he be the veteran that they signed him for? Because I will still to this day say the reason that they signed him last year was because of what happened in the 2023 World Series, where we really only had two and a half starting pitchers. So like, we need that veteran guy. And then he missed out, and then Fott blew up. Nelson became the guy that I think the team all hoped they could be. So we're like, do we really need Erod? But go look at that contract. They ain't doing anything. They ain't moving on.
Yeah, I think that's the unfortunate part. They signed him for a 4-year, $80 million or $60 million contract. They're paying about $50
I believe
million
it
a
was
year.
80. I believe it was 80.
So pretty decent contract, especially for a team like this. We're stuck with them for 2.5 more seasons, and because of the contract, because of how bad he's been, I mean,
Josh, this is a good one, actually.
bulletin board material. Yeah, there's truly not much you can really do with him other than move into the bullpen. I know a lot of people have been talking about a Phantom IL stint. The issue with the Phantom IL stint is that there has to be something wrong because the players union does look into it, and if they see that there's nothing wrong with them, they can't do it. The team gets fined.
Correct.
I think they even can lose draft picks to a certain extent as well. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like if he says like his shoulder hurts, then they do an MRI, and I don't know. Like I'm not rooting for an injury. I like watching Nelson pitch more. I think it's more exciting.
Yeah, I think that's my frustration overall with it. Is just that I know I advocated for him at the beginning of the year, and that's because I felt we needed a lefty, and we do. I think this team is too right-handed heavy. You know, they have 4 right-handers and 1 lefty, and he's the only one. But at this point, I would rather have 4 great lefties than 5 great lefties than 4 great lefties and a bad lefty. Damn, like I'm getting all mixed up today. But yeah, the point is, I would just, instead of 4 good pitchers, I would rather have 5 good pitchers. Doesn't matter what the righty lefty matchup looks like. I think overall this team would benefit from having Ryan Nelson in a starting rotation, especially with how dominating he was yesterday. He's been dominating. I know that ERA doesn't reflect that, but it's just because of the game in Chicago. With him being a reliever, it's just going to inflate it more than it really should be. But I do think it has to be Ryan Nelson. And with Erod, the only thing I can honestly say is the bullpen. But I mean, how much are you going to use him?
You're not going to pay a guy $20 million to
that's what I'm saying. That's kind of the issue, just because of how much they're paying him. It's hard to want to do that, but they can't keep bleeding out games. I believe he has 6 losses on the season already. Imagine if they could have half of those. They get half of those. You're talking about them being, the second wild card, sweeping the Dodgers. Like, there's so many things that you can say in terms of this team, like, without having him be as bad as he's been. And it's just frustrating to watch guys like Nelson be pushed to the side, especially with the way Christian Mana pitched the other day. And you're just like, so we have these guys just sitting there.
And meanwhile, I need to talk about Christian.
Meanwhile,
so he has 3 losses, by the way.
Okay, 3 losses.
So he technically is, but I'd have to look at what the team's record in his games are. Like he didn't get a lot. Like he didn't get the credit for the loss in this one because the team came back. But
that's right.
Really, where the loss was because of what happened to him. I just want to talk real quick. Christian Mena is disgusting. Can we they were there was a big time prospect that was hyped up, a pitching prospect that was hyped up in this game, and it wasn't Christian Mena, and it should be. I don't know if Jeff's here, but I was talking to Jeff about it. Like it's like Christian Mena put Roki Sasaki to shame in this. Like Roki Sasaki right now is one of the worst starting pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. Like Dodgers signed him as a minor league free agent. Go be a minor leaguer. He is not ready. He is not ready at all. Christian Mena was fantastic in this game. Like he was averaging 89 mile per hour on his sweeper. His sweeper is disgusting. Like this has me excited because Mena was Mena who we got from the White Sox for Dom? Or am I thinking of a
yeah?
Okay, the one that we actually
1-for-1.
Jesus,
1-for-1 trade.
And I don't even, and I think Dom's in their AAA right now. Like Mena was so good. And I was like, damn it, like Erod didn't get through 3. Mena's gonna have to go to the 6th, and I know what's gonna happen because we don't have an off day till Thursday. He's gonna get sent down. And he did. Like Christian Mena is just like his stuff is so good. And he's young. He is young. He is that is a future starter on this team.
Yeah, and I think you made a good transition there. We're talking about the bullpen next, and one of them is Christian Mena, who's outstanding for this team. I think he truly, like, I know they were down 8-3, I think, by the time he came in.
Yep.
But he gave his team a chance to win. And I think that's something that we've always asked about for pitchers is give this team a chance to win. And with it being so early, just the 3rd inning when he comes in and he gets, I believe, strikes out Ohtani with 2 men on. Like out of all the times to bring him in, they scored all these runs. They have 2 men on, and Torrey finally decides to pull the plug on Erod, who has been absolutely trashed. Oh, Freeman.
Which is still really impressive.
Strikes out Freeman, and when he came in, I was literally thinking like, damn, he's going to have to be perfect against Freddie Freeman with a couple of men on like this. And he was outstanding. He didn't allow a single hit. I believe he just gave up the 1 walk. Other than that, absolutely dominant. And he just looks so good. And you can always say, like, with the lead that they got and the fact that they weren't necessarily prepared for him, that might have contributed to that. But
correct.
But the movement that he had on his pitches and how confident he was on the mound, I think that did definitely help him out. And he just was incredible. And I think we can get to the controversy caused by us common fans, as Tori likes to call us. For me, I think it started in the 7th. Christian Mena had been cruising. He got Kike Hernandez on a pop-up. He was only at 42 or 47 pitches. Could have gone a lot longer. And with the way that he was cruising, I felt that they could have left him in a little bit longer. Get through that 7th inning, then bring in Beeks and Shelby Miller for the 9th. But can never have it way too easy. At this point, the team had gotten the lead. So then Torrey, for whatever reason, took out Mena, who was cruising, didn't lose any velocity, didn't lose any spin rate. And he puts in Jalen Beeks. Jalen Beeks gets the job done. 9 pitches. Jalen Beeks threw 9 pitches. Remember that. You got Max Muncy on a pop-up, and then to strike out James Ottman on 9 pitches. And then the D-backs come up. The inning goes pretty quick. I mean, literally 10 minutes. Just Gurriel grounds out, Alex strikes out, and Corbin grounds out. So pretty quick 1-2-3 inning from them. The lead is still 8-9. The 8th inning comes along. Okay, Jalen Beeks. Michael Conforto, a lefty, is coming up to bat. Shohei Ohtani, a lefty, is coming up to bat. First 2 guys are lefties, and the last one is Mookie Betts, who has been struggling all year. He's batting .265. What does Torrey do? He puts in Shelby Miller, who loves Shelby Miller. It's nice to see him dominate in this outing. He is a 9-inning guy. We've been mentioning it this whole season. Refusing to name a closer causes issues, and this was definitely one of them, because instead of putting in Beeks, who had 9 pitches, to face 2 lefties, by the way, 2 freaking lefties who's been dominating this whole season, he puts in Shelby Miller. Shelby Miller obviously does his job. The only real thing was just a single to Mookie Betts. That's it. Mookie Betts got a single, but he got Conforto, got Shohei, and then he got Will Smith out. The lead is still secure. The D-backs hit a few more home runs. Ketel Marte continues to shine, hits another home run. Then Grichuk hit a home run. And the vibes are all over the place. We are just vibing out. It's 11-7. And then Ginkgo comes out. Ginkgo, who has been very, very sketchy since coming back from the IL, as he is expected to be coming off of the IL, for some reason gets the ninth. He hasn't had the ninth all season, I believe. He gets thrown out there to face Freddie Freeman, a lefty. Ani Pages is a righty, and Kike is also a righty. Then that's three guys. They all do damage. Freddie singles, Pages double, and Kike double. That's three guys. I think at that point it was pretty clear that he had nothing, but nope. He leaves him in to face Max Muncy, another lefty. He gets a single. Suddenly the game is tied, and then finally, no, he doesn't even bring him in. He let him get Outman out, and then leaves him in for Conforto. 6 batters in to the outing. Finally takes him out. The lead is gone. There's a runner on. It's 11-11, and he brings in Ryan Thompson. And Ryan Thompson faces Shohei Ohtani. Ryan Thompson splits from righties and lefties. Righties against him are 0.7. Lefties against him this season is 270. This isn't any normal lefty. This is Shohei Ohtani, the best to second best baseball player in the league and probably the best baseball player of all time. He faces off against Ryan Thompson, who throws 89 miles per hour. What does he do? He hits a freaking home run, and suddenly it's 14-11. And on Twitter, I mentioned, why not just walk him and, take your poison with Mookie, who has been struggling this whole series, just didn't do anything much these last few games. All right. I ranted enough. All right. Brandon, just give me your thoughts.
I was waiting for you to finish.
All of this.
I was waiting for you to finish.
I'm not even finished. I'm still mad. I'm still mad at this, but yeah.
I know you are. Because I know everyone, if we somehow miss the playoffs by one game, this is going to be the game people point to. And I don't blame you. This freaking whole game was up and down. I disagree with some of the things you said, though. Torey made the right decisions for the bullpen. It's not always about on Torey. That's the thing that's driving me nuts with this fan base. It doesn't matter what he does. If he makes the right decision or the wrong decision, you guys are going to flame him. Like, you guys know how hard it is to be a professional MLB manager. It is not easy. Ginkgo just didn't get the job done. That's really what it comes down to. Torey played it right. Now, could he have left Mena in the rest of the seventh? Yes, but what he was doing is what a lot of teams do now, is they play the matchups. There were 2 lefties coming up, and Torey was like, Beeks is fresh, I'll let him get 2. Then I have 2 guys back there that I trust, in Shelby Miller and Kevin Ginkgo. I think the only thing I disagree with Torey on is, if this was Ginkgo who hadn't missed the first month of the season, I think it would have been fine, because he would have been real good. Like, he's still very rusty. Like you said, all of his outings, he really hasn't been that great. But like, if you go and look back, he hasn't had a blow up outing like he had in this one. Torey also left him in way too long. He should have removed him after the Kike Hernandez double down the line. That's when you make the change. But he left him in too long. Maybe he could have brought in Thompson to face Michael Conforto, because Conforto has not played well all year. I think he's 2 for his last 50. So you bring in Ryan Thompson, you get that sinker down, you turn 2, and at least we go into the 9th tied. But we didn't. There was the Shohei Ohtani pimp job. Do we want to talk about that? Do we want to talk about the fact that it looks like Ohtani pimped Gurriel, and like Dodger fans are bringing up the fact that his brother 7 years ago made fun of his countrymen?
Yeah,
Y'all are
it's a
reaching with
nothing.
that. Like, you are reaching so hard with that to think that Ohtani's not going to care about that. Like, come on. Like, there's a reason why your fan base everybody hates, because you guys always have to make it about you as the fan. Like, yes, as a fan, that's probably what you are thinking it is, but that's not what Ohtani did. I truly feel like it was the heat of the moment, and it wasn't that great of a imitation of Gurriel. Like, if you look back at Gurriel, and the fact is, Gurriel commented on Instagram that it wasn't a big. He didn't care. So,
Yeah,
but it doesn't help that the simp Ben Verlander tweeted, "Oh my God, look at that mimic Ohtani." Ben Verlander, just stop.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a nothing burger, just because like it's 7 years ago. Otani was what, like 15 at the time. Like, why would he care? Why does he care? He's this isn't the Astros. This isn't Yuli Gurriel. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And I don't think if you were to ask him about it, honestly, I don't think he knows or even cares that happened. And especially because, I think everyone except Dodger fans have moved on at this point. And they do think they just make something out of nothing, like the Perdomo and Kim, messing around in second base.
That was so funny today.
The way Dodger fans were just so mad at that. Like, which I don't understand. They're like, "Oh, why is he hitting Kim in the head? He should get one to the ribs next time." Blah blah blah. I'm like, you're just having fun. Like, damn. Like, at the end of the day, it's a kid's game. Like, if they don't care, like, why do you guys care so much? Like, I know as fans that we'll talk crap too, but it is our home ballpark. Like, we're gonna be booing Ohtani because he's Ohtani, and go to any ballpark, they're gonna be booing Ohtani. It's just the way things work. So I don't know. It's just
they boo the boo, like
nobody's booing
it's exactly.
Conforto. Nobody cares about Conforto. We're not going to be booing him.
Fans boo Manny Machado, and they don't even know what they're booing about. Because I still can't figure out why they're booing Manny Machado. Like, unless it's Boston, it doesn't make sense to me. Boston is the only fan base that I'll understand because of what happened with Dustin Pedroia. Every other fan base doesn't make sense. Now, you want to boo Tatis? That one I get. Like, that one makes sense because of steroids. But, like, booing Manny Machado, like, I guess there's just certain players that all fan bases are going to boo for whatever reason that they want to. So, this game is just, the way this game ended is just, it's just normal Arizona sports. Like, things just don't go our way sometimes. It's just the way it is.
And I do agree with a lot of what you said about the bullpen. They didn't do their job, which is true. I just think the way that they're used and misused, and I'm going to use that word misuse in this case, leaving in Genko way too long, taking out Mena way too early, putting in Beeks to face two guys and got 9 pitches. He could have kept going. Like today, Mantiply, he throws more pitches to get one out, and then he comes out into the 8th and just blows it up. Where's the logic in that?
Shelby also threw way too many pitches. He threw 24 pitches. Like,
he was facing the hard part of the lineup as well, which I can understand. My issue is always going to be when it comes to the with the usage, is just give the guys the roles. When they know the roles, like, there's guys who just have that gene to them. It doesn't matter. Like, Archie Bradley struggled in the 9th spot, but he was amazing in the 8th spot. I think everybody forgets that Fernando Rodney, he struggled at the beginning.
It's a mindset.
I mean, if you guys listen to PHNX, when Archie Bradley has been on, listen to him when he talks about the bullpen and the bullpen roles. He says it's a very specific mindset that you need to be a closer. Some guys have it and some guys don't. Shelby Miller has that. Ginkel, as of now, does not, especially when he's throwing 95, 96. We were seeing last year he's throwing 97, 98. That's a huge difference in this sort of thing, especially with how hard that slider is. It matters. And so the fact that he was brought in for the 9th, I questioned at the time. I'm like, I was surprised Beeks didn't come out for the 8th. And then I saw Shelby. I'm like, Shelby, not Ginkel. I thought the whole Torrey literally just said last week how he regrets not naming a closer, and he does the same thing in this, where he just throws out everybody, goes based off of matchups which don't even make sense because they're facing lefties when they're righties, and then the lefty is facing righties. Like, it doesn't make sense, and it's so frustrating. So I know, like you said, they didn't do their job, which is true. They didn't do their job, but I think it's up to the manager.
It's not on Torrey though. Like, people need to stop saying fire Torrey because of these bullpen is. Torrey doesn't play you guys. I get you're mad about the losses, but it's not on Torrey completely. It's partially, but it's not always. Oh, let's just like on our freaking tweet yesterday that we won. Someone commented, "Fire Torrey." I'm like, we won. Like,
no, but that's just a troll. They're going to put it everywhere, but it's the manager's job to put guys in position to win. He wasn't doing it in this situation because I think everybody knew. It's like, why are you doing in this specific move? Like, like I causes us common fans who don't understand his thought process, and I think this is one of them. It's just like I can understand where you're coming from these situations, and there are times where it's not going to be his fault, and I do think at this point it was. I mean, yeah, again, the guys didn't do their job. I do feel that they were positioned to not do their job because they were just brought in at certain points where they shouldn't be brought in. And I think everyone knew when to bring these guys in except him and just overthinking it. And again, like Torrey, for the most part, pushes a lot of good buttons. The bullpen is just not one of them. And it has never been one of them. And like I said, I think he just needs to establish roles. And before this San Francisco series, he needs to say Shelby Miller as of right now is the closer. That way, everybody knows what they're going to do. Thompson knows he's going to come in the 7th. Ginkel and Biggs know they got the 8th. If you want to do matchups then. But right now, it's just, the misuse. I mean, why are you putting in Ginkel in the 9th? Like, he hasn't pitched in the 9th all year. He didn't pitch in the 9th last year because they had Seawald as well, and then J-Mart, and then Puck. So he hasn't faced this sort of, adversity before. And like I said, like I understand, like at times it is his fault, not his fault. He's not the one blowing this game, but he's also not the one out there, scoring these runs either. Like you can't have it both ways. Cormero says, I don't want Torrey fired. I do want some better decision all around, like bringing up Mantiply when Drake Jameson is still alive, using Mantiply when it was a close game today sucked. So in this case, I blame Hazen for bringing up Joe Mantiply and their weird love affair with Joe Mantiply that they just will not give up on. And I tweeted it out. With the way Hazen and Torrey love Mantiply and to keep bringing him back, ladies, if he wanted to, he would. And we can talk about it later. But
really let's
let's move on from this because I think there's just way too much stuff in here. D-backs lost this game and they just 14-11. I think we talked about this being maybe demoralizing, and it honestly I think showed at least offensively with the next game, but. Good news, D-backs won Game 3, 3-0, off of the best Corbin Burns start that we've seen all season. And probably, other than the Zach Gallen versus New York Yankees start, probably the best start of the year from any Diamondbacks pitcher. Corbin Burns went out there, 7 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He's the first pitcher to go 7 innings and 0 earned runs since Ryan Nelson did it in July 2024. He was just incredible this game, just carving these guys up. Even though he didn't get as many strikeouts as you would have thought, just because of how much swing and miss he was getting, he was still putting guys away. When a couple times he had traffic, easy double plays. It was just absolutely masterwork from Corbin Burns, and I think it's the best we've seen from him. And he's only getting better. You look at his last 3 starts; he's just getting better and better in each start. I think this is something that this is Corbin Burns from here on out. So. Brandon, what were your thoughts on his outing overall? Do you think this is who he's going to be, or do you think he's going to have just a slight regression here and there?
I think this is peak Corbin Burns, and maybe it was the cortisone shot he got in his shoulder that really kind of pumped him up. Because after Friday, we needed this game so bad. Because like you said in our group chat, this cannot be a repeat of what happened versus the Cubs in that game. Like, if that happens, we're in so much. Like, I'm like, we cannot afford another 2-week stretch where we look like a terrible team. So it was really great to see Corbin Burns come out and just dominate. Like, and it's not that like all of his other starts have been decent. And the fact that he did this on a supposed limited pitch count that they had for him um, was insane. Like they had him on an 85 pitch count. So I'm thinking like, I don't know, 5, 6, 8. Like I didn't even know he was on a pitch count until you pointed it out because he was at like 91 after 7. I'm like, maybe he goes out into the 8th. It's like one of those things with Torres, like one guy gets on and you're done. But Burns was just so great in this. Like this is what we need. We need Burns to do this. Unfortunately, every time out. Like we need 6, 7 innings, like 0 to 1 earned run, because sometimes offense just doesn't help. Or we just need to find a way for the team to give up 4 runs or less because they're 18-3 when they give up 4 runs or less. So that's pretty good. So just find a way to just pitch well. Like so for me with Burns, I want to see his next start. Is he still at this high caliber of pitching, or does he regress just a little bit? Now, if we're talking about regressing a little bit, give up 2 earned runs, okay, still fine with me. You go 6 or 7 and 5 Ks. So it was really great to see Burns just completely go out there and just completely shut down the Dodger bats.
Yeah, and especially with the way that the game had gone up before, this is what you wanted to see, especially from Corbin Burns. This is why you get guys like Corbin Burns, like Gallen. It's to end losing streaks, and I know it wasn't a losing streak, but after a really hard game like that, it does feel like you just went on a 3-4 game. It could have been. It could have felt like one as well. Like I know there was just one game, there was 1-1, but it really felt like they had just lost like 3 or 4 in a row, just because of how crazy the game was, and that's what you paid big money for a guy who could shut them down. And I want to give also credit to Ryan Nelson, who came in, saved the bullpen for this game, and great job. They weren't used at all in this game. Great job, Tori. Everyone's fresh for no reason. Ryan Nelson saved the bullpen, gave 2 runs, completely also just made them look so incredibly silly. The way the starting staff other than Erod has just made a lot of these Dodger hitters just look completely silly is so impressive. Like they have something on them, I think, that a lot of the other teams don't. And that's why they've been successful with them and have been able to hang on. And I know there's no moral victories. I hate moral victories in general, but I do think this does show there is room for improvement for the D-backs. And I think going forward, there's still 9 games left. And I feel like when all is said and done, the D-backs will have a lead in the series against the Dodgers.
Yeah, because I think they only lost by 1 game in the Dodger season series last year. So it's not like LA dominated us. Like it was pretty balanced. I just think that this team takes it to a whole nother level when they face the Dodgers. And it's been like that, I think, over the last few seasons. And like we really saw it in that 23 divisional series. So it was really great to see. All right. You did well. You didn't let this just heartbreaking loss affect you as much as the last one. You're able, it helps that you had your, we can go back and forth as to who's the ace on the staff, but I think if we're going on career, yes, it should be Burns. And it still could be. Like, for all we know, Burns takes the start and he goes 2 to 3 months and he does this every 5th day, which would be absolutely amazing and kind of what this team needs.
Yeah, and we can talk about the offense. I believe this was the 1-for-11 game for runners in scoring position. They just had a lot of guys on, just made Dustin May look like a Cy Young candidate, even with his 4.5 ERA on the season. And we can't have that.
May is a good pitcher.
But I think, coming back from injury, I felt like this team really could have worked him, and they just did not. They were just all swinging for the fences, swinging at the first pitch, and just not making him work at all. And I think it's a huge problem. Like, they seem like they just focused so much on getting Yamamoto and Sasaki out of the games early that these last 2 games, they're just like, whatever, we'll just swing for the fences. And I think that's a problem with the approach, which is with some of the comments are saying, like Scott Mack saying bipolar offense, and Tyler saying consistent offense. And I think that's kind of the problem right now. Is just the offense has been so inconsistent. They'll either score 3 runs in the first or not
This
at all
isn't
into the eighth.
something new, though. This is not something new just this season. Like, this is what this team has been the last 3
The last 2
seasons.
seasons, yeah. But I mean, that's a problem. Like, we can't just ignore the
It
fact that
is.
this is a problem that the team has, where they are inconsistent. They're all or nothing. I mean, they scored 11 runs Friday. They scored 5
4.
combined, 4 combined. So when everyone talks about how great this offense is, it's something that I brought up before, which is 11 plus 4, that's 15. And in the last 3 games, they scored 15 runs. People see that and say, "Oh, they're averaging 5 runs." No, they're not. This team is not averaging 4 runs. They have 1 great game and then 2 games where the offense just sputters. And I think that's such a, misleading stat. And I think you have to actually watch and see the games to know what the team is. And right now, this offense is not a top 10 in baseball, which is, what's reported on them being. And it's going to be a problem and has been a problem. And they are facing a lot of great teams. That's a problem right now. The way MLB made their
Look at the
schedule,
schedule. Yeah.
everyone has faced the Rockies. The D-backs have faced off. The worst team they faced off against is the Marlins, who at the time were a 500 team. They have not faced any bad teams in the longest time, and the other teams have. So that's why I'm hoping the 3-game series we have this week coming up against the Rockies, they do take advantage, because that's something that we brought up. It's just, if they have, and I know there's a lot of these teams are beating up on the Rockies or White Sox or whatever, but they're doing it. They're not losing series against these guys. They're sweeping them. They're dominating them, just destroying these teams. And so, sure, there might be stat padding and getting ahead, but they're doing it. And this team at times has shown their inability to do that. They'll play down to their competition. So even with this Rocky series, I can see them losing one of these games, even though theoretically they probably shouldn't.
Well, they're going to have a new manager. So we know how certain
Yeah.
teams play with a new guy at the helm. It's just our shitty luck.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna move on to the next game. I mean, I think again this game was it Saturday that we're talking about, right? There's so many games. Yeah, Saturday the Burns game I think was amazing. Okay, so this game 4 today, they lost 8-1. Gallen wasn't sharp, but he did exit the game with 5 and 5 2/3 with 3 runs. Again, gave this team a chance to win. And who's the first guy out of the pen, Brandon?
I don't want to say it. This is going to anger me
It's,
so goddamn much.
don't say it ain't. What is it? Say it ain't so, Joe. Joe Mantiply.
Say it ain't
First
so.
guy immediately gives up a hit and the run score. So Gallen ends up with the night with the 4 earned runs instead of the 3. By the way, Jalen Beeks is alive. Don't know where he is. And then you would think, okay, well, it's 4-0 or 4-1 at that point. You can put in Jalen Beeks, and what does he do, Brandon?
No, he brings in Joe
Mantiply, who extends the Dodger lead, does nothing, just Joe Multiply, as the fans like to call him, and just extends the lead even further, just breaks our hearts and can't get out, and then makes it so it's a 5-1, or in the 7th they score a run, so it's 5-1. And then he brings in Castillo. He gets the job done in the 8th, and then he brings out Castillo again in the 9th. Don't know why, but okay. And then Castillo gives up 3 runs, and I think if tomorrow Joe Mantiply and Jose Castillo aren't in Reno, I think we should all collectively riot. So, what are your thoughts with the, I guess, what I called it, a Sunday punt day game?
Yeah.
Or do you agree that it was a punt?
I don't think it started out as a punt. I think it became a punt after they saw how offense couldn't do anything against Tony Gonsolin. I think that wasn't their original plan. but they saw how much offense was struggling, and then brought in Joe. Like, if he didn't bring him back out, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. Like, he brought him out to face Shohei, and he's had good numbers against Shohei, so I get it. So yeah, Zach went 5 2/3. Face Shohei. Shohei, just 111 off the bat. For Shohei, and then Shohei gets thrown out at second. Right there is where you should have stopped. No more multiply. But no, it's not what Torrey did. He had him go back out and face a man that is Torrey. Like, it's not that Freeman has killed us as a Dodger. He's killed us as a Brave. He's played close to like 80 games here. He's batting like 350. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why did you think that was a good idea to bring? First of all, why the hell did you bring up Joe Mantiply? Like, Hazen, what are you doing? Like, for the most part, Hazen has been really good with a lot of the moves that he's made. I don't get this one. This one does not make sense to me, other than the fact that the plan was only to have him here for 36 hours. Because, as Jack Summers reported, Kendall Graveman showed up to the team today with basically a bag used for when you go on road trips. So, yes, Graveman will most likely be activated tomorrow. So it's got to be Mantiply. Like, I know everyone's like Castillo too. Like, I feel like they might just because at least he can throw a little bit of velocity, like a little bit. Joe does not have that. So that's, if I don't see a graphic tomorrow of activating Kendall Graveman and optioning or designating, because I don't know if Mantiply has any more options. I feel like the last one he had. Yeah, like, so. Yeah. If I don't see Mantiply on that graph, like, even if I see Castillo, I guess that's fine. Like, it has to be one of them because the other one's going to be moved when Jamar is eligible to come up, and I think he's eligible on Saturday. It's either Friday or Saturday. So, and according to Torrey, his bullpen today, he looked sizzling. Is the words that were used. Sizzling. So to me, I'm hoping we back to triple digits, J-Mart, because that would be like, I think a lot of our bullpen worries would be fixed so quickly with Graveman coming back and J-Mart and Torrey. You don't have to tell us as the fan base, but you need to tell the team J-Mart's back, the 9th is his. Just, the only time I do not want to see J-Mart in the 9th is if we're up by 5. That's the only time I do not want to see it. If we're tied and if we're winning, J-Mart should have the 9th. Unless he's pitched like 2 or 3 days in a row. Then obviously that makes sense. Like, don't use them. So yeah. Sorry, got a little heated there.
I mean, it's the Dodgers. We're all going to get heated about something. I just want to talk about some of the comments here. We have Bready Boy here in the comments. He said, where is it? Gotta love seeing the purple and teal back. I think we all agree. I think these uniforms, they look incredible in the lights, and either in person or on TV, they looked amazing. There's even Dodger fans buying a lot of this merch. Just because I think it is probably the best seated connect in Major League Baseball. They just looked amazing. I got my own jersey. I got my own jersey on Tuesday, I believe. So I'm going to be repping that probably for the rest of the year. Corbin Barrow says, I think after this tough stretch, everyone will relax. Hopefully get some winning streaks going in and gain some ground. I think that's the key point here. This hasn't been just a bunch of scrubs that they've been facing off against. It has been some of the best teams in the league. and it's a grueling schedule, and the injuries pop up and they struggle. Like, it's going to happen. So hopefully they're able to take it a little bit easier coming up with the Rockies. Also, Corbin Barrow says Gabe knows ball. Damn straight. And he says, I love you too, Corbin. Brett
We
also
missed the Corbin
says,
Barrels.
Gabe joked about paying for Lawler's flight to AZ. I'll pitch in for Joe's flight flight to the Gulag. I will pay top dollar to bring Jordan Lawler up and to send Joe Man to fly to the Gulag. Let's send him to El Salvador. All right. So overall, I think I think we are happy that they were at least able to split, because I think at the end of the day, if you would have asked us on Wednesday if we would, honestly to decide, all right, what's going to happen in this game, I think most Diamondbacks fan probably would have expected a split, and that's what we got. Unfortunately, it was a very frustrating one. But the best you can do is hope for a split. They stay 6 games behind. Hopefully, there's some more roster moves that get made. Kyle Backus is still in Reno. He's a left-hander, has been dominating. Castillo, like I said, he has some very good stuff. I just don't think he's ready for the major leagues. I mean, he has an 11 ERA, and I think it won't play. All right, so I guess we can just start talking about the next series.
I think the reason Joe was brought up is because he was going to be here for a day. They didn't want to bring up like Backus or Ahmed if he was just going to be sent back down when Graveman was ready to go. I truly think that's what it was. And I think a lot of the moves we don't understand is because we don't know what the team's thinking is. And to be honest, the team doesn't have to tell us shit. Like, they really, really don't. Like, we don't need to know their reasoning, but it would be nice to know sometimes.
I think that's why, they call us keyboard warriors.
No, it's not. All right, this is gonna be a tangent. Sorry, real quick. The ranking system for prospects is all messed up. Can you name me one solid LA prospect that has worked out in recent memory? These things are just, it's a media bias. They see the LA name and they'll highly rank these guys.
Yeah, and so for the audio listeners, Scott Mack said that LA has a better farm system, and yeah, I disagree. Like Brandon said, like, they haven't had a true great prospect come up, because that's why they buy in players. Because now these prospects, man, remember we were talking about James Outman? He's strike out, man. He sucks. Vargas, they shipped him off to Siberia with the White Sox, or was Vargas, right? Or whoever the hell it was. Like, all these big name guys that they supposedly have, it just haven't worked out. Even Tony Gonsolin, highly rated prospect, has been injured most of his career. Dustin May, injured most of his career. The only one you can truly say that about is Will Smith. And Will Smith came out in 2018, 2019? He's not a...
So everyone keeps saying Paez, but he hasn't blossomed, though. He's starting to, and this is what the Dodgers do, is they'll have these guys that look good, they tease them, and then they trade them away for established players.
Yeah, and it's just career for Paez, he's batting 258, so I wouldn't say that, and 739 OPS. That's not a Corbin Carroll. They haven't produced.
Yeah, like, have they had a Corbin Carroll, Perdomo fought? No, they haven't.
No, and they won't, because I mean they just have too many actual Hall of Famers in their lineup that they bought, and these guys are just going to rot in the minor leagues. Even all the guys that they traded away, they haven't worked out good at all for any of these guys.
Like Vargas with the White Sox.
What's his face? The redhead was with the Red Sox now. What the hell is he with? Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, I guess we can move on.
Sorry about that.
Wash your hands of this series. They split it. They're still 6 games behind the Dodgers, and they are 3 games out of the last wild card, 1 game behind the St. Louis Cardinals of all teams. They're 1 game above 500, and I think they really got to shape up, because you don't want to fall any further than that, because it's going to be a very long season of this team. Can't catch up to any of these teams, but they might be able to catch up to one of them, and that's the San Francisco Giants, who they face off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in San Francisco. First game, Merrill Kelly versus Justin Verlander. this is the game to put in Pavin and not sub him out. It's just, hopefully Pavin can. I mean, it's not a primetime Pavin game, but it is against Justin Verlander. Second game, Brandon Pfaadt versus Robbie Ray. Old friend Robbie Ray, who's had a really good season so far. 5 wins, 2.84 ERA. I think him and Brandon Pfaadt are probably going to have a pitchers to one for this game. And then finally, Erod versus, I believe, Jordan Hicks. So lot of very similar guys going up against each other in the series. I can see them taking 2 out of 3 if, and I will say if, Erod pitches Wednesday. I don't think we have much of a chance, but a part of me feels like he won't be pitching on Wednesday. So, Brandon, what are your thoughts on the series? What are you expecting? Anybody to break out, or any predictions with how many they'll win?
I think they'll take 2 or 3. I think they'll take the. Actually, I don't know. Like, we always don't play well at the Giants, so that's what has me worried. And it's always because Mikey Skremski. See, I can't even say his name. He just destroys us there in San Francisco. Tuesday's pitching duel is going to be amazing. Pfaadt versus Ray. That Robbie Ray. We discussed it. Like, we hadn't really played divisional opponents. We played one with the Dodgers. We split. That's good. Because your divisional record is it's going to be a major factor as to where we are come August and September. So anytime you play divisional opponents, you need to beat them. Like, it just holds more weight. I think Kelly and Pfaadt will do really well. I don't even know what to expect out of Erod. I don't know. I really hope that he's gonna come back. He's gonna come out and pitch well after his last outing. But I really don't know, because he could be one of those guys like, I got my money, I don't care. But I don't know. I just don't get the feeling like he's that guy, but I would be surprised.
Yeah, especially with guys like Verlander, I feel like we can't tee off of him. Robbie Ray, I'm very curious about that one. I'm curious to see what he looks like. The issue is this team just cannot handle left-handers at all. So if they struggle against Robbie Ray, it wouldn't be a shock to me. But I do think, like I said, I do think they can take 2 out of 3. Hopefully gain at least 1 game on them in the standings, because again, they're in 4th place. They have not moved at all. It's just that first place just keeps rotating between the Padres and the Dodgers. Luckily, we are avoiding facing Logan Webb. I think that's the one bright spot of this. They are getting Brandon Pfaadt, our ace, and Merrill Kelly, who's been incredible as well. So with Merrill, hopefully that pickle juice that they've been sending him works, especially in a place like San Francisco with how cold it is and the air, like the density in the air and everything. So hopefully he's able to go. Bullpen should be fully rested if they are used correctly. So hopefully they're able to, take this series and come home happy, or I believe they're going on the road against the Rockies. So if they're able to take these next 2 series, I think it's going to help this team a lot in terms of the standings and their record as well.
Yeah. We've been pretty good again. We've been about 500 against the Giants the last 3 years. Last year we went 7-6. 23 we also won 7-6. 22 we went 10-9, and we don't even discuss 2021. Like, we can just not discuss that, just overall. So we'll see. We really need to start to get on our run, though. That's the one thing that's driving me nuts, is they don't play good games back to back. They'll have a really, really good game, and then they'll have just a terrible game. Like, if we can start to see them go on a stretch where they play really good, error-free baseball, like we saw on Thursday. Like, I feel Thursday for the most part was really good. Murillo kind of struggled. But like, if we can get like 3 or 4 games in a row where there's nothing where we're like, oh great, bullpen messed up or offense doesn't show up or starting pitching didn't help us out. So that's what I really need to see going forward. And I think it's going to help with having Kelly and Fott go in the first 2 games. I think they're going to set the tone for the series. Pavin, it's the one guy that I guess you do well against. I mean, he had a really good, to be honest, I know that we kind of trashed Pavin, and like he was playing very poorly for a hot minute. He had a decent series.
Yeah.
So, which
that's
is
what I'm hoping for.
Good. But the thing, like, he's hitting, you got to move him out of the 3-hole. Like, I know he had 3 hits on Saturday, but I can't have him in that 3 spot. Like,
yeah,
I can't, like, he's not being a run producer, and he never has been. Pavin, like, you need to move him down 6, 7, 8. Like, he needs to be moved down.
Yeah, and I think hopefully we get some moves to the lineup and also to the bullpen. And it's a work in progress, and it's a little bit frustrating for everybody. It is still a work in progress. It is still May, but you also don't want it to get late early, and you don't want this team to be out of contention so soon that, come to the trade deadline, they're not even making moves, and instead they're trading away guys like Gallen. So
it's still I don't freak out till June 15th. If we're where we're at right now, and we're talking about the same stuff June 15th, then I will join everyone in saying we need to be worried. But we have a month.
Like I said, there's
and
still
I think
a lot to improve.
Our schedule's a lot easier. Really starting Thursday. Like this team needs that Thursday off day so bad. If we played 16 games in 16 days.
Once they start facing off the worst teams in the league, I think this team is going to look a little bit better. Like they are hanging in there. I think they probably have 3 or 4 games that they should have won, but unfortunately they didn't. But I think overall this team, hopefully at the end of the month, it's going to look a lot better than they do now, getting some guys back from injury and also getting guys out of slumps. Like there's quite a few guys who are coming in and out of slumps. Gino, he goes into mini slumps and he breaks out and he goes in. But I do think at some point he's going to break out again. Same with Gurriel. Gabby's looking a lot better. So Pavin has looked a little bit better as well compared to the last 2.5 weeks. Corbin, I think, is right now the issue. He's just not producing at all.
So weird to say.
Hopefully in San Francisco, he's able to break out again. And with that triples alley, I am inside the park home runs, please. Alec's been scuffing a little bit, but again, he faced a lot of lefties in the series. So there's a lot of guys where I feel like I'm a little bit worried, but some of them I'm not as worried. Naylor, I think he just needs to stop swinging at the first pitch. He is swinging out of his shoes, and I can understand that he's trying to produce runs because no runs are getting produced by anyone else. So I can understand him doing that. But again, this series, I think he needs to shape up, become a contact guy the same way Corbin needs to become a contact guy again. So I just want to thank everyone for listening, everyone in the comments, Tanner, Corbin, Scott, Josh, Red Sox Nation, Brett. Am I missing anybody? Please.
I think that was it for the most.
Or resident. Charles, or a resident Dodger fan, Shug. Thank you guys all for joining. We'll be back next time. How early is the Wednesday game? We might be back on Wednesday.
It's a 12:45 game.
So maybe Wednesday, at worst Thursday nights. So come join us and we'll have a great time. Hopefully this series should be a lot of fun. And I love San Francisco and I love the stadium and I love seeing the D-backs play there. So should be a lot of fun. So follow us, tweet at us. We always love seeing people tweet at us and join our Discord. Everything should be in the description box below. So come join us there and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Desert heat, but we own this town. Brett and Gabe on the call with Josh in the back, bringing it